Hello and welcome to the first episode of Your Questions Answered, the show where we investigate your burning questions about video games. Link from The Legend of Zelda is one of the most recognizable video game characters ever created. In 2001, the Guinness Book of World Records even held a poll on its website where Link clinched the second spot for the top video game characters of all time. But have you ever wondered why Link looks the way he does with his pointy ears and iconic green clothes? Well, if so, it's your lucky day because that is the question we'll be investigating in today's episode. More specifically, why does Link look like an elf? There's several ways to approach this question. First, we'll look at the in-universe explanation, then we'll look for any official comments from the series developers. In The Legend of Zelda, there are many different tribes and species throughout various eras. Since the Legend of Zelda games have an official timeline, we can actually track the history of these groups. It's important to note that the various Links across different games are usually different incarnations of the hero, not counting a few direct sequels. Despite the differences within the timeline, Link is always Hylian. According to the Hyrule Encyclopedia, which has only been released in Japan, the Hylians are said to closely resemble the gods. Furthermore, the reason Hylians have long ears is so that they can hear the gods. Link wears green clothes because the original Link in the timeline, the Link from Skyward Sword, received green clothes when he graduated from Knight Academy. If he had graduated a year earlier, the legendary hero would have been wearing yellow instead of green, as the colors change from year to year. And Link's hat was inspired by the escapades of Link and Elzo during the events of the Minish Cap, since Elzo was turned into a green bird-like cap by Vaati. In Zelda's lore, the adventures of Link became legend and are passed down from generation to generation. In the newest Zelda, at the time of this recording, Link wears blue. This is because the developers wanted to signal that Breath of the Wild wasn't a traditional Zelda and wanted to shake things up. Despite this, the Tunic of the Wild, an unlockable armor set in the game, follows Link's traditional color, green. Now that we've covered the in-universe explanation for Link's appearance, let's look for quotes by the developers. In an interview with Game Cult from 2003, Miyamoto revealed that the original inspiration behind Link was none other than Disney's Peter Pan. Takashi Tezuka drew inspiration from the character to make sure that Link's sprite would be recognizable. Since the Famicom had limited graphical capabilities, they wanted to ensure that Link's sprite was still distinguishable from his weapons. To make him more readable, Tezuka thought that Link should have a long hat and pointy ears. Because Link was a fairy tale inspired character, they decided to continue with the direction of elves, and his association between elves and fairy tales dates back to medieval Europe. During this time, elves entered the folklore of several cultures, including Anglo-Saxon England, Scandinavia, and groups around modern-day Germany. Link's pointy ears and green clothes made their debut on the original Famicom Disk System game, released on February 21st, 1986. Link's appearance isn't his only similarity with Peter Pan, however. According to the Hyrule Encyclopedia, child Link from Ocarina of Time was 7 years old, whereas other incarnations of Link have generally ranged from 12 to 17 years old. While this may change for later games, Link has generally stayed pretty young. Much like Peter Pan, Link just hasn't grown up. In Ocarina of Time, the Kokiri children Link grew up with do not age due to protection from the Great Deku Tree. This is similar to the Lost Boys in Peter Pan, who also don't age. The inspiration behind this forever young concept actually has some tragic roots. The author of Peter Pan, J.M. Barrie's brother, died while ice skating shortly before his 14th birthday. Barrie was so overwhelmed by his mother's grief and the loss of his brother that Barrie tried to imitate his brother so that he could bring him back to life, so to speak. Similar to Peter Pan, Link has also fought his own shadow. Link's shadow, or Dark Link, first appeared in the series with The Legend of Zelda 2, Link's Adventure, but has since been featured in over half a dozen Zelda titles. Dark Link generally has the same abilities and equipment as normal Link and proves to be a worthy foe. One last similarity worth mentioning are the fairies. In Peter Pan, Tinkerbell serves as Peter's aide, while Link has also received help from various fairies, such as Navi from Ocarina of Time and Tattle from Majora's Mask. Like the original Tinkerbell from the story, the fairies in Zelda make a sound similar to a tinkering bell when they try to get Link's attention. During an interview while Ocarina of Time was still in development with the Fanimaga 64, Shigeru Miyamoto suggested that Navi had feelings for Link and was jealous of Zelda. This is similar to Tinkerbell and Wendy's relationship and provides for another connection between the Zelda series and Peter Pan. And although this show is scrapped, if you want more informative content like this, check out our new NormalBoots YouTube channel by clicking the annotation on screen. Special thanks to LuigiBlood for checking the French interview translation. The research for this episode was done by PushDustIn of SourceGaming. Check out SourceGaming for more video game discussions, news, and research. Thanks.